Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, and it is time to start our third season in MotoGP, but this time on the Monster Energy Yamaha team. Now we're going to be doing 18 rounds this season, and it's going to be starting off in Qatar right now with the Qatari GP. So on pole position it is the debuting Grant on board the Yamaha with Aleix Espargaro in second with Quartararo, Zarco, Miller and Bagnaia in the second row, Vinales, Martin, Rins, Oliveira, Nakagami, Marquez, Mir, Binder, Espargaro, Morbidelli, Savadori, Petrucci, Marquez, Rossi, Leclerc, Bastianini and Marini at the back of the grid. So we now look to the lights for the very first round of this third season in MotoGP, and away we go. That's a decent start if I do say so myself. Power setting 3 enabled, but the man on board the Aprilia, Aleix Espargaro, diving to the front as we now go into the very first corner of Qatar for the very first time this season as massive contact. Oh my goodness, Johan Zarco has just absolutely clobbered 3 Ducatis, including himself, and then me on board the Monster Energy Yamaha. I was very fortunate to stay on board that motorcycle there, but look what it's just done to us from pole position to 19th place in just one corner. Johan Zarco, bravo, well done. Oh my goodness. So now it is the impossible. Can we work our way from the back to the front in very difficult circumstances? Enea Bastianini does not want to let the world champion through. World champion last season and the season before with the Aprilia team for the Aprilia RSGP, and now it's time to face a new challenge on board the Yamaha and see if we can come back from this already difficult situation we find ourselves in Qatar. Now the qualifying for me was absolutely fantastic. I feel really good with the Yamaha. I've changed the electronics to TCS2, anti-wheelie 2, engine brake 4. You can see it in the bottom right corner of your screen down below as we now get a little bit too close to the Ducati rider Enea Bastianini, but we do finally position ourselves ahead of him. As I've just noticed on the left hand side of your screen, Maverick Vinales was also caught up with that disastrous moment from Johan Zarco. No idea what the Frenchman was thinking going into turn 1. So hot, so aggressive, and just quite frankly, a lack of concentration if I do say so myself. A very silly moment for the runner-up in the World Championship twice in a row in our MotoGP 21 career mode. So now onto the right-hand side we will go. We've got Luca Marini following his half-brother Rossi as we now try and make a move up on the inside of the Sky VR46 man, and we certainly do. And now power setting 3 applied to get in behind not only Rossi, Leclerc, Alex Marquez, and even many more, because of course power setting 3 in MotoGP is a little bit overpowered, but just don't tell anyone as we now go into turn 1 for the right-hand side. And Alex Marquez is giving us a bit of a bump there. The Spaniard also deciding to move us out of the way in the most aggressive way possible. I thought that was Alex Marquez, not Marc Marquez, but anyway, moving on from that. Now onto the right-hand side, behind Morbidelli, we will continue to push very firm and hopefully have a chance going into the third corner with a possible nibble, possibly going into turn 6 in a moment's time. Turn 6 is a very strong braking point for me, so I do feel like a possible lunge could happen. But I'm not going to say anything yet, just in case I don't end up making it, and it doesn't look like we do go for it. We kind of went for it, but it hasn't worked just yet. Morbidelli is still in 14th position, so we are back into the points, but a single point would be extremely devastating after finishing in pole position. Now I want to just quickly mention once again regarding the electronic settings and changing it around with the new bike. The suspension settings and everything else hasn't changed as we give Morbidelli a slight nudge as we go around the outside of the Petronas Yamaha. And now we begin to bring on the power once more with a bit of slipstream ahead of us. But I found that the immediate change to TCS on 2, anti-wheelie on 2, and engine braking remaining the same on 4 really made a massive difference to the gameplay as we try and have a think about going up the inside of Marquez. Yeah, have that one back, sunshine. Oh, I didn't mean to knock him off though. Oh, okay, I don't think that was my fault. I went for the move, but Alex Marquez possibly should have yielded. I don't know. Answer in the comment section down below if I deserve a penalty for that one. Personally, I think not. I think it was just a racing incident, and Alex Marquez clearly didn't want to give up the position. But I still need to try and finish my point. Qualifying went perfectly. I hardly did any laps, but I feel with the electronic sensors we've got, we just managed to clatter into both of them. Poor collision detection as we try and dive the inside of former teammate Aleix Espargaro, who gets shoved extremely wide into the first corner. But I am going all out right now, guys. 3 seconds behind our teammate Fabio Quartararo. I don't want to start the Yamaha debut with my teammate taking the spoils. I want to be the one standing on the top step of that podium here in the fantastic place of Qatar. So we'll see what we can produce, but it's 2.7 seconds. The difficulty is still 120% AI. If you believe me or if you don't, that's absolutely fine. But soft front, medium rear, change of electronics, smooth on the acceleration, seems to be working an absolute treat. I feel so much quicker. Whether or not it's made a difference because I'm using a championship mode rather than career mode, possibly could be a difference, but the reason why I've done that is so we could change it to the official 2021 calendar that came out this season. So double Algarve, double Misano, double Qatar, and double Red Bull Ring of Austria. So with that in mind, that's why I've gone for this particular championship mode. And as well, the career mode, I just find that, well, I have to really upgrade all the bike once again. And with MotoGP 22 on the horizon, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through it. So I thought, you know what, best bike possible. Let's just make it a proper, solid championship where I can fight with the best of them as much as possible. But I digress on that one for now because we still need to get back to the action that is unfolding. We are about to conclude the third lap, and I feel like I've lost a bit of time on this one. I've begun to struggle somewhat. We're losing a little bit of time here and there. It's not a massive amount of time, but it's still something. And of course, we do have Paulo Espargaro, the two Suzuki riders, and Miguel Oliveira included in that battle. So there's a good chance we could still get on the podium here. I do think a victory is out of the equation, and as much as I would have loved to have taken a victory or even finished on the podium, I'm happy with a podium position. So onto the right hand side we will go, dropping it back down now to power setting 2. I do find power setting 3, of course, not only really heavy on the fuel consumption, but it also produces a lot of power to the rear tyre, so you can find yourself spinning it up more often than not. Got to try and use it sparingly when you can for some of these particular corners. But going into turn 4, I've kind of made a pig's ear of that one, touching the green part there on the track, but thankfully no track limit warning was given. I guess the minor sort of flaw in our little arsenal of attacks right now is we do touch the outside of the track a little bit too often for my liking. But now, approaching the rear of Miguel Oliveira. So I may or may not have gambled with the recommended tyre combination of the soft front and medium rear, but it worked a treat in qualifying. And it worked quite well in the warm-up lap, so I'm pretty confident that I have made a good decision. How it's going to fare towards the end of the Grand Prix, as I can just see in the distance there, Pecco Bagnaia is eyeing up Quartararo for a possible move. Now, I'm kind of mixed. I want to try and get the Team Championship and the Constructors Championship this season, but I don't want Quartararo to take the victory because I want to be top Yamaha, and it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. But Paulo Espargaro, thank you very much for the little gap that you left me there. It was more than enough for me to get on through as we go into the tighter part of the apex. Too tight to the apex of turn 14, but we're still pretty solid right now as we go on the left hand side. Keeping it tight to the apex will bring on the power once more, just behind Joan Mir and Miguel Oliveira, and we'll go very firm on the brakes there for the right hander of the 16th corner. Do we go around the outside of Joan Mir? I think we do. We certainly do. That was beautiful. Miguel Oliveira's had to have a little look behind him to say, how the hell did you get here? But across the line, another solid, consistent lap times. You can see in the 3 lap times we've done, a 152.4, 152.3 and a 152.3 once again. Very, very competitive and very, very consistent. Consistency is what I love to do in MotoGP, and when you can get those lap times churning them off after, like, metronomically, it just feels great, and it feels so invigorating knowing that your lap times are consistent and very, very solid. Now, I made a mistake going into turn 4. Joan Mir, is he going to be close enough to capitalise? He's going to be close. Ooh, flashbacks of Valencia for the last season when Alex Rins gave me a clattering going into the Duan corner for turn 2 in Valencia. But for now, we do have a little bit of a chance. I'm seeing a gap, but I'm also not losing them. I think Oliveira is doing a good job of pursuing that 3rd position, but is held by Alex Rins right now, so I will definitely take a podium finish if it's possible. I'm just got to keep on pushing to the end of this video, and of course, if you are enjoying the video so far, don't hesitate to hit the like button and consider subscribing as well for a lot more DrAce content, a lot more MotoGP 21 content coming soon, and of course, the Big Daddy, MotoGP 22 coming very, very soon. So on the right hand side for turn 12, a much more improved and revitalised cornering for me compared to the Aprilia. I used to really struggle in this circuit with the Aprilia, like really struggle, but this time I feel fantastic. The Yamaha is a nimble beast as Joan Mir has just gone down. Joan Mir has seen his demise into turn 14. The Suzuki man throws the blue bike right onto the floor there and out of the Qatari desert for the Grand Prix of Qatar. Disappointment for the former world champion. So we now have the final straight and then 3 laps of this Grand Prix, and we are going to improve our lap time once again, going into those very consistent lap times of this time of 1:52.247 as we go really firm on the brakes and going wide into the first corner. Miguel Oliveira is probably going to regain the position, which I didn't want to happen because we now have the difficulty of trying to keep him at bay while we try and catch up to Marquez. And Miguel, why? We should be working together, but Miguel says, no thanks, I want to try and get the position myself, mate. And then he fights back. So we'll see what we can do on this next couple of laps. I do feel we're running out a bit of time. I can't keep on using Power Setting 3 as much as it's a really great assistance. I need to save the fuel now. And with 2.5 laps remaining, I can't be that too... I don't know. Maybe we can be a little bit frivolous, but I think being frugal will be better in the terms of saving power consumption. So on the right hand side we'll go now for turn 7 for the 6th time of asking. We've got Miguel Oliveira in our sights, Marquez a little bit further up the road, and then of course Alex Rins occupying that position that we really want, that coveted 3rd position which both Marquez and Oliveira ahead of us are desperate to get as well. The very consistent smooth pace from Alex Rins right now is actually making things difficult for the 8 times world champion. Of course then Miguel Oliveira behind, race victor in Portimao and a few other circuits in MotoGP such as Red Bull Ring of Austria, but we're now going the right inside once more. 13, pretty well organised going into the right-hander there. Once again, nice and tight to the apex, a little bit too tight. We get a track limit warning. The metaphorical slap on the wrist has occurred in this Grand Prix for the very first time. Of course we can take 5 slaps on the wrist before we need to bandage it up and do a long lap penalty, but for the time being, not worried about that. Power Setting 3 maybe toyed with here, maybe, I don't know, should we? Yes, why not? Use Power Setting 3 because I'm really happy with the fact that we are sticking with the consistency. It's a 1:52.4, so very, very consistent. Really impressed with those lap times to get a little bit out of shape going into turn 1. I should stop probably joshing about those little lap times and getting all excited about them because I'm rather excited and rather proud of my consistent pace so far. But now, it's business. We have to get into business. Our lap times are nowhere near what Pecco Bagnaia is doing, that's for one thing, but we need to chase down Miguel Oliveira. So onto the right hand side we will go. A little bit of slipstream has just helped me go a little bit too wide into that particular corner. Quick check behind me to make sure that I'm not hindering anyone's performance as we get back onto the circuit, and I think we've still maintained the same gap that we had a moment ago. Now onto the left hand side using a lot of rear brake to slow ourselves down. Oliveira is getting closer to Marquez. This is what I need. Marquez just stays where he is. Oliveira maybe makes a lunge, maybe makes things a little bit more difficult. But the problem is, if Marquez is fading, Alex Rins is getting away. We can't have that. The gap has stayed exactly the same to Fabio Quartararo in first position to 3.4 seconds, 3.3. Kind of hovering around, but it's still over 3 seconds, which of course is not giving me much confidence. But onto the left-hand side we will go. I do feel this is getting to be my most strongest part, which is odd. This was always where I struggled the most, but I'm glad that I finally seem to have cracked it, as I could never seem to tackle it with the Aprilia, but never mind about that. This is the new future, this is not the past. We don't keep going on about Aprilia, we go on about Yamaha now, because that's what we are. Team Blue, Team Monster Energy Yamaha, in for the win, in for a penny, in for a pound, as we now bring on the power. Power Setting 3 might be getting dabbled with again. This penultimate lap has got me extremely close to the rear of Miguel Oliveira. Marquez is fading. He will not be holding on to 4th position if Miguel Oliveira and Grant have anything to say about it. Power Setting 2, save that little bit of fuel just in case we need it across the line. It's a personal best, our first 51.8 in this Grand Prix. Finally breaking into the sub 152s, and finally we do have a lunge going over the inside of Oliveira and Marquez. It's going to be close. Bit of rubbing is racing with Marquez, chucking it back over the inside. Marquez runs it deep and will try and get back ahead of the Repsol Honda man. Certainly a bike I considered riding with this season, but ultimately Monster Energy Yamaha offered more pennies, and that is why we picked this particular team. So on the right hand side we'll go for turn 4. It's getting tough. I don't think we'll be able to catch up to Alex Rins. I'm going to give it everything I've got now. We can use Power Setting 3. The fuel consumption is saying 1.1, but I know it can be a little bit awkward in MotoGP 21. Sometimes it can tell you've got loads left, and sometimes it could say you've got loads, but actually you don't have that much. Maybe I'll consider putting on towards the end of the lap, but the gap is 1.2 seconds. But let me just take a moment and say, we did go down to 19th place after Johan Zarco gave us an almighty whack up the backside. that's pretty impressive if I do say so myself. We've clawed our way back, we have fought, we have scratched, we have clawed all the way back up to 4th position. May not be a podium on the card for us today because Alex Rins is still a little bit too far ahead. Is Pecco Bagnaia finally going to make a lunge on Fabio Quartararo? Is it going to be status quo from lap 1 to lap number 9 or lap 8? I can't remember how many years, lap 8 I do believe it is. As we go on the right hand side, I'm pushing so hard, but unfortunately I cannot get close enough to Alex Rins. He will hold on to that 3rd position. Denied me a podium out of in Valencia, and he'll be denying me from a podium here today as well. And it's good to see that I think for this final part, this final lap, will conclude with another 152.4, 152.5. Very consistent pace. Quartararo wins, Bagnaia in 2nd, Alex Rins in 3rd, and somewhat a disconsolate Grant in 4th position. So race 1 is complete, and if there are any more races like that this season, I'm going to have a very sore throat and you guys are going to have a fantastic career mode to watch. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. So Bagnaia, 2nd place, Quartararo 1st and Rins in 3rd. So looking at the championship standings, it doesn't take a maths genius to work that one out. Pretty much exactly the same as while the race ended just a few moments ago. So now we take a look at the team championship, and it makes sense that the Monster Energy Yamaha team do have the top spot. Of course, Grant finishing in 4th and Quartararo taking the perfect 25 points out of the Losail International Circuit for round 1. So we'll take a look at the Constructors' Championship, which of course is going to be the same. Yamaha being on top with the 25 points, Ducati in 2nd and Suzuki in 3rd position. Well guys, that's it from me. I really hope you enjoyed the first round of our MotoGP 21 season number 3. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below. Hit the like button if you really enjoyed it, and hit subscribe for a lot more DrAce MotoGP content. So upon that note guys, thanks for watching, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next Grand Prix or video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.